Online. Dr. Wale, before you tuned in, we were just talking about what really is ailing the nation and how do we get out of it. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, good morning, and thank you for having me here. And brilliant conversation, enjoying every minute of it. I think the social media culture is partly to blame for a lot of our problems. Because social media has introduced a performance culture that's very dangerous. It focuses on how things appear to be and not really how things are. And so we have a society that is so focused on the appearance and not the substance. And that's why you find people who are, they want approval at all costs. So your importance is measured by how many followers you have, how many likes you have, how many retweets you have, and that is not sustainable in the real world. And I think, but of course, that's the world we have found ourselves. So how do we deal with that? If you do not have a sense of identity on the ground, no amount of likes or follows can give you an identity. And so I think, like has been said before, it goes back to mentoring. I interact with a lot of people. I run a program called Reimagine Yourself. It's the one-on-one thing. And I found out that it doesn't matter whether the person I'm talking to is in Europe, is in Sudan, is wherever. Problems of humanity are basically the same. People are searching, who am I? And unfortunately, if you cannot answer the question, who am I, offline, social media will never give you the answer. And you just keep searching and you get frustrated. I think that plays a major role.
Yeah. Dr. Wale, it's this creation of identity that I'm still stuck on, because we spoke about it and said that most of the stress levels come from other things. Say you've lost your job, you don't have enough money. Are we creating our identities around things that they should not? For example, do you think your job defines who you are, your house defines who you are, so that if one of those things are moved out, all of a sudden you have an identity crisis?
That is a real crisis, Trevor, because we should not. Let me tell you a story. There's somebody I know and we all know people like that, working in a particular environment, and everybody gives you a shout. Everybody is calling you. Everybody wants your attention. Everybody wants your favors. All right. Then you lose that job, and then the phone stops ringing. Now that tells you one thing: people were not relating with you; they were relating with what you stood for. Or what you represented. And one of the things that I am very, very strong on is, who are you outside your title? Because that is very important. I go as far as saying, can your brand afford to be fired? Can your brand survive being fired? Because you see, if your brand is built, your whole identity is built around what you do. What you do is not necessarily who you are, all right? And I think that's very, very important. So that introspection, that looking at who am I?
Yeah.
And there are a few parameters to discover, to be able to answer those questions of who am I? Where do you look? Who am I? Where does my brilliance, where do I shine the most? Where is my brilliance? Where does my opinion matter without me trying to force myself on people? Where do I get the greatest praise? Where am I most critical? Because we are likely to be more critical in the area of our callings and all that. I think that journey is very important. So you become a timeless brand.
Yeah.
What does that mean? That means even if you are no more there, people were not following you because of your title or your office. They were following you because of the substance of your person.
Yeah. And how do you answer that question? Who am I? Where do we start? Do you start from where? How do you answer that question? Because I've also had people ask themselves that question all the time.
Well, and those are I gave some supporting questions. Who am I? And those supporting questions, where do I shine? Where do I look? Everybody needs appreciation. Okay, so where do I get appreciation without soliciting for it? You know, where is my natural flow?
Yeah.
You see, those are the kind of things. Where's my natural flow? Where is it that my opinion matters? You know, now there are a whole bunch of questions I normally ask people, and by the time you're through, you begin to get a glimpse that, oh my goodness, so this is really who I am. And many times, let me shock you, many times we had been introduced to ourselves as children. But you know what? We became adults and we tried to be sophisticated. You know, many times that has happened. You know, and sometimes it just, you may actually just look at people that you trust and people who will tell you the truth. Unfortunately, that is not popular anymore.
Yeah.
You know, having conversations with people that will tell you the truth and say, look, let me tell you something I do. Sometimes when I have these engagements, I bring in a total stranger, and I bring that stranger before a group of people, and I tell the stranger, just say anything for about 30 seconds. So they speak for 30 seconds and they leave. Then I ask the people in the room, write down 3 words that strike you as you look and listen to this person. Do you know that the vast majority of people will write the same thing? Why? Because we are naturally conscious. We are transmitting signals. Human beings, we are always transmitting signals. Most of the time, we are unconscious about the signals we are transmitting. And so getting feedback sometimes about the signals that we are transmitting will help.
Yeah.
But the answer to the question, who am I? It's not an academic thing, and there is no template.
Yeah.
It varies from person to person.
All right.